What's up, guys? Tyler back with a brand new video, and this will be my DC Serial Era Retrospectives. As always, let's get into it. So in this video, I'll be talking about all the serials that are released from DC Comics from 1941 all the way to 1952. Before we get into that, I do want to mention this real quick. So I thought that the theme song for DC Superhero Girls, I thought that was a pretty cool theme song. It's very 2010-ish. Kind of reminds me of I guess 2010's pop mixed with Taylor Swift. Kind of reminds me of that. But I thought that the theme song to that was pretty cool. So moving on to the serials. So here we have the first piece of DC Media, which is The Adventures of Captain Marvel. Came out in 1941. This actually came out a few months before the Max Fleischer's Superman cartoon. So let me tell you guys something. Watching all these serials, you really have to be invested to watch all these serials because most of them are 3.5 hours to 4 hours. So you really have to be invested to watch all this stuff. So that's why it took me a while to do this video, because I was watching all the serials. So I know there's 10 series that they put out. 6 of them have been put out on DVD. The 4 that haven't been put out on DVD is Congo Bill, Spy Smasher, Hop Harrigan, and The Vigilante. So those 4 are not on DVD. You can find them on bootleg DVDs and stuff like that. Some of them are on Tubi, I believe. I think Spy Smasher is on Tubi. Probably watch that later. But here's Batman, 1943. And I always wonder why they couldn't get Lewis Wilson and Douglas, what's his name? Croft, yeah. Douglas Croft back as Batman and Robin for the sequel, 1949. I always wondered about that. But when I saw this DVD back when I was a kid, I thought that this was the next Batman movie after Batman Begins. I don't know why I called it Batman 6, but I'm not gonna lie, I really do this cover. This is pretty cool. If this would have been the marketing poster for the film back in the day, I guarantee you a lot of people were gonna see it. So, but I know serials were around for probably about 20 years, 32, I think 52, or I'm sorry, 1936 to 56. So here's the sequel to that, Batman and Robin, 1949. And this is actually one of the earliest pieces in my collection that I acquired. I got this when I was a kid, probably around 2007-ish or 6. It was somewhere around there. So Spider-Man 3 had already come out, or the trailers had started airing for that. And here is both serials for Superman starring Kirk Allen. This has Superman and Adam Man versus Superman, and this is a really cool DVD set. This is probably one of my favorite pieces of my collection. And 2006 was a big year for Superman. Everyone knows that. I mean, Superman Returns was coming out, and they released a bunch of DVDs for Superman. This is one of them, out of many. I probably will do a video about that later. On Superman Returns, probably 20th anniversary. Here's the last DC serial, Black Hawk, and Kirk Allen stars in it as Black Hawk. So I thought that was pretty interesting that he played another DC character in these serials. And Kirk Allen, he was, I think, this is the peak of his career. I think this is during the peak of his career. He was already doing some stuff, I think, in the 30s and stuff like that. So it would make sense that they would cast him as Superman. I mean, he had the hair, the right physique for the role. So, and he was very accurate to Superman at the time. Keep in mind, Superman had been around, let's see, that was 1948, so 10 years. So Superman already been around for 10 years at that point. So, but it's funny to think when you're a kid, if you think back to those days, you had to go see the serials. These were the things that created cliffhangers. They're like, I think usually the first chapter was like 25 to 30 minutes long, then the rest of them like 15 to 16 minutes, and you have to go back to see each chapter every week. You have to do that for 15 weeks straight. So I can only imagine how much it was to get in the theater back then. I know it was pretty cheap, but I could just imagine that. I can imagine myself as a kid, getting these comics and stuff like that, and going to see these serials, like 15 weeks straight. And if there's other serials you want to see that are coming out at the same time, then that's a lot of serials. So that's probably a lot of money back then. So, but I really want to do a video about this because number one, I like doing a video about all the different DC eras because it gives me a chance to talk about all the different eras, stuff like that. So, and I know that a lot of the older DC fans will appreciate this video because some are, I'm pretty sure a lot of them are still alive. They probably remember going to the theater and seeing these and coming back to see each chapter every week. So, but it's just interesting to think about that stuff when Superman, Batman, these comics in general had existed for like probably 5 years or so, or 6, somewhere around there. And to see him for the first time on screen, it's just interesting to think about. So, but I had a blast watching these serials, and like I said, you really have to be invested to watch all these. It took me like 2 weeks to watch all these. I haven't even seen the other 4. So these are 6 out of the 10. So but I really want to watch the important ones because these are the only DVDs that they released. So, so that's all for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys in the next video. Later, guys.